Hello, everyone. Good evening to another wonderful episode of Link to the Past Randomizer, week 7 of season 2 of the league. We have a very exciting race for you guys tonight. So to start off, I am Crazy Sunshine. We're your commentators for tonight, and joining with me is Lumanga. How are you doing tonight, dude?
Hey, Sunshine, I'm doing amazingly well tonight. This is week 7 of the league, like you said, and a lot of drama, and it's culminating here in the Lost Woods division with the top 2 teams here in the last week.
So tonight we have Team Kappa featuring FEARAgent and Gammachuu, and we're about at team names with AdirondackRick and Synack. This will be 2v2, co-op info share and all dungeons, and off we go.
So as expected, some divergence right away. There's a potion and sanctuary. Both Team Kappa went that direction, and Synack and Rick got Bamos and Link's house.
Did a quick map check on Fear's side. There are 2 crystals on Hera and Eastern, and a green pendant over in Desert Palace. Also give a quick shout out tonight to our duo tracking team of TJ Joel and Sokol, because we have 4 runners tonight, and need as much help as we can tracking all the items.
Yeah, so very interesting divergence, and there's going to be divergence throughout. Both teams are communicating with each other. Gammachuu knows, let me get some cash and do Houlihan, and Fear, you check out Lumberjack. I couldn't see what was up there, actually.
It didn't look like it was important. I think it was 20 rupees.
All right.
Yeah.
And a hoard of money on the uncle, 300 for Rick. Synack, showing us that it is a big 20.
So for those of you who have yet to see, who this is your first time seeing a co-op race, so pretty simple. We have 2 runners from each team working on the same seed, and for those of you who can't see it, they are on a Discord call or some form of communication with each other to relay, what's where, what places you have to go to, what places can you skip. And this is all dungeons, so all 10 dungeons will have to be completed along with both versions of Aghanim. And the winning team is the team with the best average time. So when we have 2 players, both sides finish up, we'll get their final times, average them out, and see who is the winner of tonight's race.
Yeah, and some added drama for these 2 teams. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, both top 2 teams in the Lost Woods division, they are fighting for first place. And I believe in the playoffs, there's 2 rounds in the division. The top team in the division gets an early bye into round 2. So they are definitely wanting to make it to the top spot.
Yep. And getting a lot of money early on in the seed, and we had a few runners do Houlihan, so they are very, very well off with money for the rest of the seed.
Well, money and also some good items that we're coming across. We found the flute in the Lost Woods and just picked up the bow in Blind's Hut. Not to mention, of course, we found 2 bottles, so that'll be good for safeties later.
Yeah, quick question in chat for the team. So, team on your left side, you have Team Kappa, FEARAgent on the top, and Gammachuu on the bottom. And then on the right side, with team, we're about at team names, we have Rick on top and Synack in the bottom.
So you can definitely see, wow, Rick making out like a bandit in Mini Moldorm Cave, getting a book, Quake Medallion, and a glove.
Also pointed that because this is all dungeons, we will be getting all 3 pendants. So the pedestal play isn't too important, but in case there is an item on there, our runners will be able to get it regardless.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about these co-op races is one player will typically do a lot more scouting, and you can see that Rick is scouting out Ice Rod Cave so that he can tell Synack, go here or don't go here, while Synack figures out where Rick should or shouldn't go to.
Yeah, for co-op mode, the best way to approach it is literally divide and conquer, so that you're not checking the same places at the same time, so that you're able to relay information as to where one person can go and other places that they can skip altogether. So, for example, on Rick's side, he sees that Ice Rock Cave is just 20 rupees, so we can tell Synack, hey, Ice Rock Cave, skip it. You don't have to go there.
Yeah, so now we do have a few places we can head to, starting to open up with this glove and this bow and the flute. So Rick going to check out the back of Escape, and looks like we're going to just finish out the checks in Kakariko on Fear's End.
Yeah, for the most part. Yep, for the most part, we do have almost similar item loadouts. Only difference is that Rick still has yet to go to Kakariko to get the bow. But other than that, we're pretty even for the most part. Oh, looks like Rick found mitts. That's Titans already.
Yeah, those mitts were in the back of Escape. So that plus a Moon Pearl, which was in the well, will give us Dark World access very early.
Yeah, 3 hearts and green mail Dark World access is not really, well, you can do it. It's just be, things hurt like a truck, so you will end up, dying a lot. But we'll see if should Rick decide to go to the Dark World early, he can do a little bit more scouting for Synack as he continues on in the Light World.
And Rick getting the intel from Synack that the flute is up in the mushroom spot, as Synack activating his own flute. So now, yeah, that raises an interesting question. You could have one person scout the Dark World, and then another, go to the eastern area and figure out Saha and the Eastern Palace because you have the bow.
Yeah, we'll see how our runners will go. Meanwhile, it looks like Fear is going to be heading into the front of his, checking out Uncle, which I don't think anyone has done yet.
Uncle has 300 rupees. Rick
that's right, okay.
And that's how he ended up with 600 rupees.
Oh, that's right, I gotcha. The bow was in Kakariko, I believe. It was in the well, or was it in Blind's Hut?
I believe it was in Blind's Hut.
Okay. Unfortunately, with the flute, with all runners getting the flute early, they are able to traverse through Hyrule much faster.
Fear going to help us out with the little bit of uncharted territory, checking out the front of Escape. We've already seen the back, but nobody's gone to the front yet.
Yeah, I don't think Rick picked up a Smoky Era map when he was checking the back. I don't recall.
Now, doing this, I've practiced a few times, and I will be playing later this week. You do have to either take notes for your teammate, or you have to have a very good short-term memory to recall. Correct. 20 minutes later, oh yes, to route this dungeon or to get this chest, you do this. So this is not an easy mode, even though you are getting some information from your teammate.
Yeah, communication is also definitely key when it comes to this mode, and you want to be able to convey to be able to convey to your partner, where things are. Especially like for dungeons, like I know for myself, I tend to forget, what chest is the vanilla, compass or map chest, and just kind of like go off description as to where things are. So it's a good idea to have like, a good knowledge of, what dungeon items are where in the vanilla game, and be able to share that information. When it comes to Randomizer, hey, you can skip the map chest in Eastern. That has nothing. But yeah, definitely the communication is a very, very important part when it comes to co-op mode, because you don't want to end up confusing each other during the run.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see where Fear flies off to. Looks like gonna be checking off Mini Moldrum Cave.
Yeah, actually, this beginning has been mostly, let's stick to a local area. So in this case, Southern Light World. Nobody's gone to the mountain yet or in a dungeon. But there's a lot in the overworld so far to pick up as Rick picks up the rock and is the first to enter the Dark World. We have a 5-6 in Pod, and our pendants are Swamp and Skull Woods.
Yep, and yeah, 2 5-6 crystals are at Thieves Town and at Pod. So it's a pretty interesting layout. We see some on Gammachuu side. We see some fake flickering action with Ether. So we have it's 10 minutes into the seed, and we have one runner with all 3 medallions. This never happens.
All right. Noteworthy cane out in the chest game.
The second mitts, they were found. Rick found his second mitts over in the back of Escape.
Yeah, so our 2 teams tonight, the top 2 teams in the Lost Woods division, competing for first place. Team Kappa with FEARAgent and Gammachuu only needs to win one of these next 2 games in this series to get first, and AdirondackRick plus Synack and Clifford as their third teammate in Team We're Bad at Team Names will have to win both if they would like to get first.
Yeah, so for Team We're Bad, they do need to win both games this week in order to tie Team Kappa and force a tiebreaker between the 2 teams. So very interesting times indeed for the Skullwoods division. It was not Skullwoods, Lost Woods.
Lost Woods.
Yeah, it's woods of some type, just in the light world. It's still terrifying.
Oh, this is a very strong division. We had several really good teams in here, and it makes sense that these 2 teams made it to the top 2.
Yep, absolutely. And Rick pulling off a very, very risky maneuver, being in Thieves Town with just green mail and 4 hearts, while Synack is venturing into Eastern Palace. Don't know. He might be inclined to complete it since he does have the bow. But I know for most runners they tend to do both Eastern and Pod back to back, especially if you are able to clear both. But we'll see what happens on the next side. Meanwhile, it looks like Fear is in the Dark Cross from what it sounds like, and trying to get that last chest there. It's just bombs.
Just bombs. So yeah, echolocation works out for him.
Yeah, we don't have the sword. It makes traveling through dark worms a little bit difficult, but he gets it done with the trusty old blue boomerang.
So Gammachuu making his way to the Meyer area. Looks like Ether is our medallion requirement today. No problem, because he has all 3 anyway. And this is where the exploration is going to work out for both Rick and Synack. Ooh.
That's a lamp.
That'd be very helpful for these dark rooms.
Yep, early access into Meyer Shed gets us the lamp on Gammachuu's side. It looks like Rick is venturing further into Thieves Town. I don't know if he's found all of the dungeon items in Thieves Town yet. So I know he does have the small key.
Right, I have not seen, but he does not have the hammer, and he does not have a weapon that could defeat Blind.
That's
so
right, yeah.
At best, he could free Blind, put her in the cell, put her in the room, and then leave, but can't beat her.
Ooh, speaking of, we have Boots. Boots in Eastern Palace on Synack's side, and Gammachuu is on his way there. We'll be getting those shortly. That's nice information to have. Oh, that's right. I think Rick did pick up the King of Samaria, right? I think it was in...
King of Samaria was in the chest game. I believe he did pick it up.
Yeah,
when he was
so
there.
he has a weapon to defeat blind. It's not the
Okay,
most
that's
ideal
right.
weapon, but I think it's it'll work. Just have to be very conservative with his magic usage while he's here. Ooh, it's not taking a death in the Dark Room in Eastern. Alright, he's gonna leave it. He'll come back to it later. Yeah, traversing through those dark rooms without a sword is not easy by any means. So, Synack will try again later, and we'll do more checks. We'll turn in that mushroom that he found in Eastern. Let's see what the witch has for us.
Well, a bottle's nice, but probably not something that he'll tell Rick to go get.
Yeah. It is blue goo, though. That's always nice to have. Meanwhile, Fear is taking a death warp, completing all the checks here in Thieves Town, and we'll head elsewhere.
Rick using his cane on blind. One of the items that can hit, gonna have to make 9 hits, 3 for each head, but takes a death.
Yes. Again, doing anything in the dark world with his current health is definitely not easy, but Rick is going to give it a second go.
Yeah, I don't blame him for trying, because then it's good information for Synack as well as a crystal for Rick. Both of the runners have to beat the seed, and as you mentioned, it's the average time from the 2 runners which will determine if they win.
Right, 20 rupees coming out from the digging game on Fear's side. It's gonna say nope, no thank you. Alright, take 2 on Rick's side with the blind fights. Now Synack is going to be checking out some additional checks with the boots now at hand.
As Fear begins his quest with the smith chain.
And meanwhile, Gammachuu, while in Eastern, does have the lamp, which makes traversing through that dark room relatively painless. And I'm gonna go ahead on in and defeat Armo's Knights. Ooh, and Rick, ooh. Yeah, second, yeah, Blind is serious business tonight. And Rick has opted out to try again later as well, and we'll do more checks along the Dark World.
Yeah, don't blame him at all. It's not an easy fight with Kane, and especially the 5 hearts green mail.
I think according to chat, there are 2 items left in Thieves Town, along with an item in the big chest. So hopefully he'll come back here when he has the hammer.
All right. Gammachuu taking on Armos, taking him out as well.
Very nice.
For that first dungeon clear, that first crystal at 18 minutes 2 seconds. And our first sword at about the same time in Hype Cave.
Nice. And our second sword.
Show me number 3? No.
Ah, that'd be too easy.
3 swords in the Hype Cave would have made that hypest of caves.
Oh, that'd be so hype. But yeah, I'll take a Master Sword. Yeah, it's better than what you had before when you had no sword.
Yeah, you had nothing. You entered with nothing.
Alright, looks like Rick's gonna be checking out more locations here in the Dark World. I imagine we'll be making a trip over to Hype Cave as well to get his Master Sword. Well, I'm not sure that'll entice him to go back into Thieves Town, but I think while he's here, he'll do as many checks as he can.
No, probably not right away, especially since it does not have the hammer, and we
That's
know
right,
that there
yeah.
is an item there.
Mm-hmm. We do have Fear bringing home our blacksmith friend, and in return, he will give us silvers. Okay.
All right.
The blacksmiths were creating the wrong weapon this time, but it helps. Silvers and the master sword. We're pretty good on offense right now.
And Gammachuu using his book, boots, and lamp to head into Desert Palace. That is a fully clearable dungeon.
And it's also the green pendant as well. So when Gammachuu heads over to Eastern, he can turn in that green pendant to our good friend Sahashala. Alright, let's see where Synack and Rick will be headed off to. Synack will be checking out the front of his gate now.
Which I didn't think had anything, but Synack and Rick do not yet know that.
Yeah. I think at least for Team We're Bad, I think this is their first trip into the front of escape. Rick was the only one who checked the back. Let's see. So we have farm runners in 4 completely different areas at the moment. Nothing coming out for Desert Palace just yet for Gammachuu, but Rick will be getting his lamp shortly.
Now I'm just trying to think where they really have access to, which would be of any value, and the only thing coming to mind is Palace of Darkness. The mountain, Death Mountain, doesn't seem like a great choice because they have Old Man and Spectacle Rock. That's it. Palace of Darkness, they can get through most of it except for the hammerlocked spot at the end.
Unfortunately for our runners, the only way to get to Palace of Darkness at the moment is if they defeat Aga 1 early, or if they are able to pull off the current jump to get access to the eastern portion of the Dark World, which I think, well, you have to defeat Aga 1 anyway, but depends on what the runners will want to plan and try to think of at this moment.
So Gammachuu in an interesting position here. He's headed to Landmo with no sword and just arrows, possibly bombs to beat Landmolus. So this is going to be an interesting fight for Gammachuu.
That's right. I just noticed that too. It's very, very ambitious play coming from Gammachuu, but I don't know too much about Gammachuu. About if I'm assuming he has pretty good extensive knowledge with the NMG run, so which is I know preferred way to do the Landmolus fight with arrows.
All right, setting up for the arrow kill. Gonna have to hit him very quickly, but pegs 2 of them.
How many arrows is it per landmole, do you know?
From the looks of it, it looks like it should be 3. Chad is telling us it's 4.
3 or 4, okay.
Or 3.
Gotcha. Well, it gets 1 down. 2 and 1.
That's number 3.
Nice. Wow, that's very, very impressive from Gammachuu, completing his 2nd dungeon, the Green Pendant, out of Desert Palace.
By the skin of his teeth, too. 1 arrow left. Would have had to switch to bombs after that.
Very, very close call. Meanwhile, Fear picking up his first crystal over in Eastern Palace. It looks like Gammachuu is going to be following. Going to be nice, a quick little high five with his teammates. Let's see, we see Synack in Lost in. Oh, there's our hammer. Speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of, that's a great find for Synack and Rick by association. Our green pendant just giving us a heart today. Gonna have to pick that green pendant up and head back for pods, so I'd imagine Fear's gonna maybe pick that up as well.
Also having some issues with the enemies here in Skullwoods, trying to get through here. Meanwhile, Rick has made his way to Lemmel's fight. Has the Master Sword, so he'll have an easier time with his fights. We have FEARAgent being the first of our runners to head to Death Mountain.
And not anything in or on Spectacle Rock worth getting, so would love to have a hookshot or the mirror plus a hammer in order to get any value out of Death Mountain right now.
Yep.
And Rick had started with arrows, but switching to sword spins.
There we go.
Finishing off that third landmalus with arrows. Nice.
It looks like Fear is heading into Skullwoods. We'll be getting that hammer shortly as well.
And Synack pulling out his hammer, looks like gonna go grab those two swords out of Hype Cave.
Right, this is the part where FEARAgent will tell Gammachuu, wait, go back to Skullwoods. Go to Skullwoods, that's your hammer. Yeah, still can't complete Skullwoods without the fire rod just yet.
And just as you suggested, Gammachuu is headed straight to Skullwoods.
Alright. I think Fear's done with Skullwoods for now.
So I think we only saw the one item, the hammer out of Skullwoods so far. FEARAgent going to clear out a little bit more of it. And Synack, swords and hammer in hand, going into Thieves Town, able to clear all of it at this point. And with a knowledge of Rick's scouting of which chest to skip and which chest to get.
You do have Gammachuu attempting to pull off the current jump here. So the way that this works is that you have a bomb, and then as the bomb explodes, it kind of pushes you south and kind of creates a fake flipper mode. So that's how we are able to cross the river without our flippers.
Yeah, very useful for skipping a hard required agonim, getting out of logic, and then headed to the east side of the Dark World, Catfish and Pod. We're gonna get our catfish check first.
Yeah, with Gammachuu's current low, he'll be able to complete Palace of Darkness as well with the bow and hammer in hand. Alright, didn't see if there's anything on Catfish today, or than anything of note.
Just 50 rupees.
Alright.
Which is good for Gammachuu. He was pretty low on money anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, this will tell Fear, okay, you don't have to go to Catfish unless you're broke. He only has 50 rupees. That's a very good point, because Gammachuu still needs that money to go into Pod, so it's probably a good pickup for him, definitely. We'll see on Gammachoo's side what we have on the pyramid today, as well as inside Pod. Okay, yeah, really quick Gammachoo. There we go. Very well done.
Just some arrows today in the pyramid.
Yeah. Now I run on arrows. Alright, we have both Fear and Synack in Thieves Town. Rick going into Skull Woods. I don't recall if we found the second item besides the hammer in Skull Woods.
I actually did not see it. Maybe behind the fire rod locked spot.
Mm-hmm.
So Gammachuu heading over to Pod is going to have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Gets one shot at this. If he loses Kiki, he's out of money.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any, like, ruby spots around here where he's at. Unfortunately, he is able to bring Kiki safely to the entrance. Meanwhile, the mysterious big chest in Thieves Town was just a heart container, which it's nice to have this time. Only with a green mail, I think you're not going to say no to a heart container.
I'll never say no to a heart container. Maybe a quarter heart.
Yeah, runners are still on green mail at the moment, which may be all they need, but you're not going to say no to, if you find an armor upgrade along the way. Right, and Fear keeping up the script with Blind and gets it done. And that is Fear's second dungeon cleared.
And another heart container out of Thieves Town. Synack also on the third phase, just a few hits away from that same crystal.
There we go. Alright, we got the hammer in hand, so Fear's gonna show us some neat little hammer dashing skills and open up hammer pegs for us. Meanwhile, Rick has made his return to Eastern, or like, no, this is his first trip?
I think this is Rick's first trip.
Okay, hey, first. Yep, definitely need those.
Definitely. This is an all dungeon seed. Even though Swamp is a pendant, we are going to need those flippers.
We're also going to need that hook shot at some point as well. As with Gammachuu in Palace of Darkness right now, I'm kind of interested to see what kind of routing he has planned, since it's kind of awkward to go through Palace of Darkness where you don't have the mirror, so you don't have the luxury of mirroring back and forth. You kind of have to do things the long way here.
True. Those Kodongos in the Dark Maze, though, they spit fire, and that will take out a lot of hits if you want to do a Death Orb.
That's true. So we see Synack doing some oh, no. I was going to do a fake flipping, but I was going to go up Death Mountain instead.
Yeah. Well, if he was going to do the fake flipper, it would have been a chance to see the waterfall, which Fear, with the flippers, will allow us to do in logic.
Which I think, I think Gammachuu did the fake flipper earlier, and that's where he got his Ether Medallion.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
which is required because that's our Meyer access.
Which, speaking of, Meyer can be cleared as well.
Yes.
On Team
that's right.
Kappa's side.
And not a moment too soon, Fear going to pick up that lamp in the Meyer shed, so it does not have to do the Meyer darkroom.
Oh, so we got a hook shot on Gammachuu side over the Dark Maze. Yep, it was in the big, thank you chat, the big chest of Pod had the hook shot. Which is where Synack is, so we will get that momentarily. And looks like Fear's going to be our first runner to bravely venture into Meyer with, let's see, what is that, 9 hearts? 9 hearts, green mail, master sword, silvers. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I believe that's 9.
I hope.
He'll be okay. Vitreous might pack a punch, but he's no match for silvers.
Yeah. So in terms of items we still need, we definitely need... Both rods have not been accounted for. We don't know where the mirror is either, so those 3 items at the very least are what we're still looking for.
Right, and a sword would be very nice for any of these runners at this point, too.
Yeah.
Particularly Gammachuu, who doesn't look like he's picked up his from Hype Cave yet.
Silvers, FEARAgent found his second bow, rather, over in Blacksmith's today. So they were minting the wrong weapon for us tonight. But Rick does wrap up Eastern Palace and gets his second dungeon cleared.
And headed into Pod, so we're going to see Rick do Pod as Synack finishes up, probably finish up Eastern immediately after, as Gammachuu is finishing himself on Helmasaur.
Yep. And nothing coming up so far in Meyer. Looks like Fear is skipping out in the cutscene chest right now. Hope he doesn't have to go back there. Although he might have to. Yeah, technically silvers aren't progression, but they're nice to have, especially for say for example for the Vitreous fight, because there's only 1 arrow for each eyeball and 2 to the big one. That Gammachuu completes Pod, gets his 3rd dungeon down. But where off to now, Gamma?
Well, with that hook shot, I would think he's going up the mountain, because now he can do the east side of it.
Of course, if the Dead Rocks and Death Mountain have anything to say about it. Although...
Yep, just reset. It's okay.
And also on Gamma's side, with the hammer, we'll also be able to enter Hera through that side.
That's a good point, and with an all dungeon seed, Hera ideally might be your last dungeon, but we still need both rods, and 1 or both may actually be in Hera. There's not a whole lot more spots to check outside of Paradox Cave, which has our mirror today. So with that and the flippers that FEARAgent has found, we do have access to Swamp Palace now.
Yeah. Also, as Chad pointed out, Gammachuu still has no swords. And he has completed 3 dungeons without a sword.
Maybe it's FEARAgent telling him, "Nope, I have not found a sword yet."
What are you talking about? I have no swords,
Right.
Swords are just a myth. You're crazy.
No, I'm sure the communication is much better than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And FEARAgent showing us why silvers are granted after you defeat Vitreous in the vanilla game, because blink and you'll miss it, and FEARAgent takes down Vitreous.
I don't know. I know we found the heart piece in the big chest of Meyer. Was there a second item that we had not seen yet? I don't know if he's gonna go back in or what. Gammachuu. The trouble with dead rocks on Gammachuu's side. Checking out the ether tablet. We'll be able to read what's on it. Just couch cash, move along. And Gammachuu is heading into the Tower of Hera.
Indeed, and Rick, being very intent on getting all of these 5 rupees, now has enough money for Zora, which we haven't seen yet from either team.
Well, have not paid a visit to our good friend King Zora yet, and well, FEARAgent has other ideas in mind. Venturing bravely into Ice Palace. Oh, Gamma did check Zora. Okay. Probably wasn't anything of importance then. Alright.
Synack taking down Helmasaur with no problem. Rick making his way through that dark maze, gonna pick up the hook shot out of this big chest, and Gammachuu headed up to the Moldorm fight. No swords, so gonna have to use his hammer, which will do tempered sword damage.
Yep.
A few whacks at the tail and he'll take him down. As long as he stays on the floor.
Ooh. No, Moldorm's like, no, you're not allowed. But I see with Samaria equipped, I feel like FEARAgent is going to be pulling off Icebreaker to cut his time in Ice Palace just by a minute or so.
Yeah, this is definitely a bigger time save than even the bomb jump that you can do. So what's going to happen is Fear is going to line up with the door in just the right pixel, clip through the wall, and then clip into the wall, and then with the Samaria block, make his way through the wall, like so. Very nicely done.
I still need to get that trick down. It cuts like at least like 90 seconds or so in Ice Palace. It's so crazy to think of. So
yeah, this is not a great dungeon to do in the vanilla game, and then now with Icebreaker in Rando legalized, it's very trivial.
But we do have Synack bringing that big red bomb over to the Pyramid Fairy, with both Pod and Thieves Town completed, and there's the ice. Oddly enough, the ice rod is in Ice Palace. That seems horribly
how appropriate.
Ironic.
Yeah,
it's horribly ironic, but. The fire rod's going to be like on Vitreous. Not Vitreous, on Coldstare, because of course it would be.
Of course. I think the only other appropriate spot might be the lava chest in Turtle Rock. Just to keep with the theme.
There's half magic, and there's 50 rupees, so nice little half magic pickup there from Synack. think I know there's 2 items on Ice Palace. I don't think we've seen a third. I
don't believe so.
Okay.
Alright, Fear taking advantage of the free bomb jump across this gap. Gonna get both the Freezors and I don't believe he found the... Did he find the big key in Ice Palace?
I didn't see him pick it up, no. There
it is. And he can get that big key chest. Big chest. As we get a hookshot chest, hookshot cave check, and we have a blue mail and the fire rod, which we're looking for.
Rod.
And there's our third sword, but Gammachoo's first sword.
All right, no more swordless kills for you, Gammachuu. I'm sorry. You did 4. You completed 4 bosses without a sword. That's I think that's very impressive. But
That's a lot of fantasy points, actually.
I think is that no mode for us then?
That is no mode. So we do not have the flippers for Gammachuu, and we do not have the fire rod, nor the mirror for FEARAgent. So that is no mode.
Mm-hmm.
The fire rod, of course, in Hookshot Cave. The flippers. Can you remind me where the flippers were?
Flippers were in Hammer Pegs.
Indeed, and that mirror, and actually Fear does not have the hookshot either.
Hookshot was in Pod. Ooh, and Fear's gotta be really careful with closer fights. Yeah, green mail, those puffs do 4 hearts of damage, so gotta be really, really careful with your movement here.
Yeah, just be patient and don't make any aggressive moves.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the way those puffs are kind of getting up on FEARAgent, to be honest.
Alright, so we have 1 puff down. Nice. Number 2.
And 1 more puff to go. Be really careful, FEARAgents. There we go. Nicely well done. Very well done.
Nicely done as he picks up his next crystal. Mm-hmm. So let's do a quick recap now that I think we have a few new viewers in the broadcast. This is week 7 of the ALTTPR League, which is a co-op seed and info share. So both players will be able to communicate with each other. We do know where all of the items are at this point, and thus Team Kappa does as well. They are all playing the same seed. This is not a multi-world, just all dungeons, co-op info share. Yep. So give all of 4 of these runners a follow. We got FEARAgent, Gammachuu representing Team Kappa, AdirondackRick, and Synack representing Team We're Bad at Team Names. Both of these runners fighting for first place in the Lost Woods division. Team We're Bad at Team Names would have to win both games in their series this week, and Team Kappa only once in order to clinch that first place spot.
Mm-hmm. And on Team Kappa's side, they are currently, I would imagine, if they've been relaying information that they have been, they are in item no mode. So for FEARAgent, all he needs right now is the mirror, hookshot, and fire rod. Hookshot being here in the big chest of Palace of Darkness, which is where he's going to now. Fire rod is going to be up in Hookshot Cave, and I think the mirror was also somewhere. I forget.
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking on the mirror spot.
Oh, it's in the Paradox Cave.
Indeed. Yes, we do know it was somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And on Gammachoo's side, all he needs are the flippers, which were found in Hammer Pegs, and kind of needs another sword. So he will have to go to Hype Cave at some point to get those 2 swords. We have on Team We're Bad at Team Names side, we have both runners up in Death Mountain. And with Rick checking out the Dark World side and Synack checking out Paradox Cave, will be getting his mirror momentarily. As well as Rick getting his third sword over in Hookshot Cave.
Fire Rod as well is up in Hookshot Cave.
That's right, yes. That was the other items. Like, I know there was something else in there. Yeah, well, the information that, at least for the information that our runners now know, they can just head straight to the chests that matter and then go mode everything else. So, it won't be long before we see one of these runners up in Ganon's Tower. Half Magic was in the Pyramid Fairy that Synack unlocked fairly recently, along with 50 rupees. So, pretty sure it's a nice safety for Synack to have, but I can't imagine any of the three runners going out of the way to get that.
Gamma gonna go pick up his silvers. Not a bad move. This is not an out of the way check. If it was something like purple chest, maybe would have skipped it.
Yeah.
We have both We're Bad at Team Names players in Tower Hera.
Sorry.
Is Synack checking a hint tile, but no hints enabled in this mode?
Yeah, all the hints have been disabled for league races, so no actual helpful hints and no joke hints, unfortunately.
Alright, FEARAgent taking that Death Warp, does not have his mirror out of Paradox Cave just yet.
Right, it's like we're trying to set up the Hera pod, but opting to do Hera the long way. Let's see, we're keeping track of where our runners are. We have Gammachuu wrapping up Skullwoods. And Fear in Pod will... He did get his hook shot.
Yep, did get the hook shot from the big chest. Just looking for that key so he can make it all the way back to Helmasaur. And Gammachuu are first to enter the Skullwoods boss, Mothula. With just a fighter sword, the only one with a fighter sword at this stage, gonna use the hammer strats.
Yeah. Also like to point out really quick, as we have runners kind of retracing their teammates' footsteps, the second match between these two teams is scheduled for, looks like Thursday the 16th at 7:15 p.m. Pacific and 10:15 p.m. Eastern. No channel yet scheduled, but we'll keep you guys up to date for any changes in that. But yeah, we'll see how this match will go tonight, and then we'll see for Thursday night if there's anything that's more on stake. If in case Team We're Bad at Team Names wins tonight's race, and if they win again on Thursday, it'll tie with Team Kappa. And again, with Team Kappa winning tonight, they'll be getting that first week bye, which very nice for them. And now, finally, almost an hour into the seed, Gammachuu finally visits Hype Cave. We'll be getting his 2 swords, so hopefully he gets his 2 swords. Okay, good. I thought I was gonna just talk to the NPC and just he'd be, I'm fine with the Master Sword. It's like, no, get that tempered sword. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, FEARAgent, now the only one with the Master Sword, will eventually pick that up out of Hookshot Cave along with that Fire Rod.
Yep. Alright, FEARAgent's even quitting. He heads off to now. Probably will be getting that Fire Rod. And also the mirror in Paradox.
Yep, I would imagine he would do both of those, and then I think with the knowledge that Tower of Hera and Turtle Rock are both not needed for progression, might save those to the end. Go do something like Swamp and Skullwoods.
Yeah.
He hasn't done Desert either.
Yes. That's right, yeah. Yeah, so definitely if you're in a co-op situation, you definitely want to try to see if there's any dungeons you want to be put into go mode. If not for you, then for your teammates. And fortunately for us tonight, we know that at the very least that both actually no, I think we have what? Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock will be in go mode, so just head straight to the boss, no questions asked. In, out, gone.
Yep, Swamp Palace, Skullwoods, and Turtle Rock will be go mode. Ice Palace does have our Ice Rod Cave, our Ice Rod, rather. And Gammachuu will pick that up as soon as he gets over there.
Where Ice Palace was it?
Spike Chest.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, well, if I'm going to guess Gamma knows how to do Icebreaker. I would like to venture a guess because he's going to be doing Diver Down. So,
well, both tricks were very recently legalized, and I know that a lot of runners spent time recently learning these. So, Diver Down here is going to let you skip a little bit of the Swamp Palace area. Don't have to push the statue onto the button. Gonna clip through this rail, dive down, and there you have access to those 2 chests.
Yeah, imagine at this point Gammachuu's not going to be opening up any other chests unless they're on the way, like the one here in the waterfall room in Swamp. But other than that, he's good to go.
Yeah, maybe just for safety, like powder or red mail, maybe.
Looks like Rickson's checking our pedestal check. You see green goo in the bottle.
So there's our 4th bottle.
Yeah, our runners are good on bottles. I think they won't be too sad to skip that item behind. But it looks like Fear's gonna go into Turtle Rock right now and clear that off. Like he's already up here. It makes sense. And Gammachuu. I could have sworn there was an Argus there momentarily, but he's gone now. I don't know where he went off to.
I don't know. Maybe he just disappeared.
Yeah, he just got tired. Like, I'm done. That is Gammachuu's 7th dungeon cleared.
Alright, Gammachuu likely going to spot 8 for the Ice Palace.
Yeah, Rick with our blacksmith friend in tow will be getting his flipper shortly out of hammer pegs.
Yep, silver's to boot on that one.
Yeah. So FEARAgent is definitely in go mode, and we'll be only opening up chests for keys. But other than that, he's just gonna go as fast as he can to complete the seed in hopes for a good average. Okay. All right. That's the we now know where all 4 of our swords are in the seed. We do have a check coming in from Rick's side that we have not seen yet. The magic bat giving us the sparkly red boomerang for today. Yes, chat. The magic bat has cursed us indeed with lag. It's sparkly though. It's pretty lag.
All right, Rick, taking on his revenge in Thieves Town. Tried this a lot earlier, much less equipped. Now has swords and a few other items, so a few more hearts can definitely take it on blind.
He's back with a vengeance. You do have Gammachuu picking up his ice rod, and Ice Palace is now also in go mode himself. You have Synack. I don't think did we see the purple chest turn in at all?
I believe Team Kappa did turn it in. I thought it was bombs.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, chat confirming that it was just bombs. Thank you, chat. Just realized, does Synack still not have Samaria? I could have really picked it up a while ago, no?
We will have to check at a pause screen, but he would have Samaria out of the brewery. I'm sorry, out of the chest game in Village of Outcast if he got it. It's not done. Well, he did do Thieves Town, so he does have Samaria.
Oh yeah, he does have he does have Samaria. Okay, good.
All right, team. We're bad at team names. Just looking for that ice rod. Rick heading into Ice Palace, where it's going to be. It's FEARAgent and Gammachuu in go mode. FEARAgent on Trinex.
Yep, and Gammachuu is going to be heading into the mire area. We'll be able to finish off. I think the big key it wasn't too far deep into mire, I believe.
No, this is actually a pretty friendly mire.
Okay, good.
I believe it was Compass Chest.
You know, I could have sworn there was a Trinex on FEARAgent's side, but he's not there anymore. What the heck?
That's what happens when you have a butter sword. Things just kind of melt.
Right, and on Team Rabbata team name side, looks like we have Synack. I think he is doing a lot of overrule checks from the looks of it. He's gonna be checking out Bumble's tablet, see what's on there. From here, he would be able to go into Swan Palace as well.
Well, that is how you play this mode, because you know, Rick checking out a dungeon and Synack checking out some of these off-the-wall locations, which Rick may not need to do at this point. Rick about to do the icebreaker and find his ice rod shortly thereafter. Just got to line up right with the door, move 1 pixel to the west, and then clip through the wall.
There we go. Alright, and once Rick gets his ice rod, he himself... Well, actually, no, he still needs the Ether Medallion. Does he not have that yet?
Oh, interesting. That's in the Waterfall Ferry. I don't know if I saw him go up there. But we do have a synced Swamp Palace between Synack and FEARAgent, both of them early on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Team We're Bad at Team Names has not done Swamp Palace, so does not know what they can skip, what they must grab. We do know it's nothing.
Mm-hmm. But in Synack's mind, he's probably going to do a full clear of this in hopes of finding the last few items that they need here.
I don't know about that. Rick just picked up his ice rod. He'll tell Synack, hey, the ice rod is in Spike Cave,
right, yeah.
or Spike Chest. And Rick will know that the Ether Medallion is in Waterfall, so they are also in no mode at this point.
Mm-hmm. Gammachuu pulling off a spooky action glitch in Mire. And arrows to the face, or to the eyeball rather. And there we go.
And another example of Diver Down.
That's
More
so cool.
funniness with this Candace Amaria.
And what this game is about 25 years old and we're still finding glitches to it? Like... It's so crazy we can still find after all these years. Alright, and there's Rick getting his Ether Medallion out of Waterfall Cave. And will now be officially in go mode. Right, and both Synack and FEARAgent in Nargis fights. FEARAgent with a slight advantage with the butter sword gets it down for the heart piece, and I think that is his 7th dungeon cleared, with Gammachuu going into his 10th and final dungeon in Turtle Rock. And Synack also completes it as well.
And Gammachuu going to know exactly where to go in Turtle Rock for that big key and the small keys if FEARAgent remembers where he picked them up. And then on to Ganon's Tower, where we have a game in store.
Yes. We won't do it just yet, but keep your start thinking of what number you guys want to put in the chat. I think we'll probably do that once Gammachuu is probably on the way to try next. Meanwhile, on Team We're Bad at Team Name side, we have Rick finishing up Misery Mire, and Synack in Ice Palace will be getting his Ice Rod. Alright. I think it's probably, unless something horrible happens, this is Team Kappa's race to lose at the current moment.
Indeed. So Gammachuu just has to do Turtle Rock. FEARAgent does have some shorter dungeons and will likely end up finishing with Tower of Hera, or right over to Ganon's Tower after that. Now, the actual winning time is going to be the average of these two runners on each team. So it's not first to win wins the series. Correct. Or wins the game.
Yeah, the good thing about Gammachuu, once he goes into Ganon's tower, he'll be able to tell FEARAgent where the big key is, so he won't spend too much time looking for it once he goes in. And silver arrows. Oh, almost got that. Oh, almost there with a zero cycle. Some rage slashes here and there, and that moles is down. Although Chopper is a good point. I totally missed this on Gammachuu's side, but he missed out on getting that glass sword in the chain chomp room.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, so he's like, you know what? I'm good with tempered. I have tempered swords, silvers. I'm good for the rest of the seed.
It's a strategic move.
Mm-hmm.
Team Captain may feel that they're a bit ahead, and indeed they are in the driver's seat in the seed.
Yep. It looks like Pierre's gonna heading into Skullwoods next on his list. We have Rick and Meyer gonna defeat Vitreous with his silver arrows.
Chad bringing up a good point that Gammachuu was not interested in picking up swords in this seed. He did several bossless fights.
Yeah, that's true.
Did not pick up his Master Sword and his Tempered Sword until much later. May have done this seed swordless if he was given the opportunity.
Yeah, his first sword wasn't until almost an hour in, and that was in Hookshot Cave. Which he managed to complete 4 dungeon bosses in swordless mode, so it's a very impressive feat on its own.
Alright, Synack and Rick, each picking up a crystal out of Ice Palace and Mire, respectively. Rick just down to Swamp and Turtle Rock. Synack has a few more to go.
Yeah, on Synack's side, let's see where he goes off to next. He'll be able to do Mire and Desert Palace back to back. Skullwoods is pretty fast clear, just head to the back and defeat Mothula, and Turtle Rock for last before heading up GT himself. We have Gammachuu with our good friend Trinex. A few shots with the Fire Rod, Ice Rod, swipes with the Tempered Sword. And there we go. Gammachuu decided Trinex is down. So should we go ahead and get the game started?
Yeah, let's get it started. Pick a number 1 through 22 in the chat. Integers only, whole numbers only.
Actually, wait, hang on. Is there a way to start, or is there... I can't remember.
We do have to start.
There we go. Thank you, Jossie. Yes, so go ahead. Go. Put your numbers in. A number between 1 and 22. Guess where that big key in Ganon's tower is located. What's your guess there, Lumaga? What you got?
I'm gonna go with 9. I always choose something not too easy, not too difficult.
Right. I usually go for my favorite number 5. Depending on what how Gammachuu will route in, that's typically either going to be... That's usually in the either the compass room if it goes full right, or Sappho's room if it goes to the left. So the game will stop the game once Gammachuu enters the tower. No, Mikan, it's not an Iggy's it's not an Iggy's castle. That's the wrong game. Alright, go ahead and stop. Alright, and looks like Gammachuu's gonna check out Bob's torch first. The small key. We'll see if Gammachuu decides to do full left or will pull off a Dark Magician strategy here. Chest number 2, 20 rupees. Chest number 3, 10 arrows. 4 is a piece of hearts. And chest number 5 is bombs. So he is going to do Dark Magician and check out the right side.
Yeah, this is a very common start. Gives you a lot of chests early on, both on left and right side, before venturing deep into Ganon's Tower's basement.
Alright, 6 and 7, just the key and shovel. Skipping out Tyler room for now. We'll deal with you later. Alright, and next few chests coming up. Here in the compass room of Ganon's Tower. We have chest number 8, the net. Chest number 9, 20 rupees. 10 is another small key, and 11 is the big key.
11's that big key, and all that pause buffering you see on FEARAgent's end was for him to set up the Herapod glitch.
Mhm.
He wasn't just goofing around there.
Yeah. Yes, for the Ganon's Tower big key game, it is chest number 11, and tonight our winner is Andy Montana is the winner. Congratulations. You have won all the internet points for tonight. But you have to use them up tonight, otherwise they expire. So use them well.
That is FEARAgent's last dungeon to complete before going to Ganon's Tower, where he'll face Aga 2. All runners will need to do Aga 1 at the top of Castle Tower in order to defeat Ganon. So not done just yet.
Yeah. And this is also the ideal position where you want to save Aga 1 for the very last, unless you need to do it if there's an important item in Lumberjack Ledge, or if you need for Dark World access. Once we are done with Ganon's Tower, it'll warp you to the top of the pyramid where you normally fight Ganon. However, if you mirror back into the light world, it'll bring you to the front door for the Aga 1 climb. And with Gammachuu relaying the information to FEARAgent of where the big key is, he'll go straight there to the compass room. Meanwhile, on Team Rabata team names, Rick is going to be heading into Turtle Rock as is for his last dungeon, and Synack doing the Desert and Misery Mire back-to-back combination.
Gammachuu going for another silver fight on Landless. Gets the 2 cycle.
Alright, very well done. Alright. Fear's probably gonna grab that. Oh, he's...
Fear does need to get one more key. And we'll take the easy one out of this skull pot and head up the tower.
I see Gammachuu just blazing through the gauntlet here, through the climb. And so like using a different strategy here for Vitreous with the cape and sword dashing with the boots. It's also very effective. Also looks pretty cool. Also just realized that he is kind of low on arrows, so I can see why he opted for that strategy.
Yeah, definitely wants to save the arrows for the big eye.
Mm-hmm.
Could have also used the cape and just slashed, but yes, the dash on the cape does look pretty cool in Vitreous.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Gammachuu just about to Moldorm 2.
Yep, just gonna ignore every single chest from here on out. Just to deal with one more version of Moldorm 2. Hopefully no falls this time as soon as I say that.
Just as you say so.
Yeah. Yeah, Moldorm is not a happy worm today. I mean he's never happy, to be honest, but you know. But open up that last chest there, Mulgrim's 2, for good luck, and is rewarded with 20 rubies, but he is down to Gammachuu is down to 2 hearts though. I don't know what his current bottle loadout is at the moment, but he's gotta be really careful.
Yeah, gonna have to definitely be a bit deft as he goes through the Aga2 fight. Line these up just right and make short work. Gets a triple.
Nice. That's nice starts.
Yeah, this is not the time to take a hit, so Gammachuu gonna have to be very careful.
Yeah. But gets it down.
Nicely done.
Very nice. Meanwhile, FEARAgent is on the climb himself. A little more than halfway through. Yeah, there is a fairy here in the tree that Gammachuu can grab before he heads into the Aga 1 climb. Or you could opt to just do the entire Aga tower with just 2 hearts, but he will get that refill at the end. He's going right in. Ooh, FEARAgent cutting really close with the torch room. We'll see how Gammachuu does with a 2-heart climb up Aga's tower, but is equipped with a tempered sword. Blue mail. He'll have to be really careful.
Well, he just walked past a heart that dropped off an enemy, so he must be pretty confident in what he can do here.
And well, apparently FEARAgent was like, "No, you're Mulgrim 2. I'm not gonna fight you today. I'm good." Alright, we'll see how Fear does with his Aga 2 fights. All looking into triple, very nice. So it's important to point out that all Forerunners will be facing the same pattern for their Aghanim fights, as well as for Ganon. And Aga 2 down on Fear's side.
And Gammachuu just a few rooms away from Aga 1, near the top of the tower himself.
It's kind of, not gonna lie, it's kind of stressful with him being on a heart and a half. Be very, very careful, but he is in the final room. We'll now just have to be careful of the blue balls that come his way from okay. And Gammachuu also showing off a neat little hookshot dash here, which is not really needed, but it's actually looks kind of cool.
And Synack and Rick finishing out Turtle Rock in order to get to Ganon's tower, as we have Gammachuu in his last fight before Ganon.
Yep, Rick finish up his 10th dungeon, and we'll be heading into
And that's the end of Aghanim 1 and 2 for Gammachuu.
Yep.
Warping over, gonna get that full heart refill after beating Aga 1, dropping down to Ganon.
And down we go. I'm your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. What does that make us, you ask?
Probably nothing.
Yeah, it's probably nothing important.
Alright, now, Gammachuu did opt not to get that butter sword out of the chain chomp chest. Just walked right past it. Not butter sword.
Tempered sword.
Tempered sword and Silver's still going to be very quick for him to take on Ganon.
I guess the lucky setup there for the second phase and moves on to phase 3 as Ganon is very, very angry and is going to stomp all over the place and make some tiles disappear.
And that's his last hit on phase 3. On to phase 4. Silver's my one true weakness. Oh no.
Oh no.
Alright, no need to worry about the torch glitch. Gonna set up for a double. Almost had that triple. But Gammachuu takes down Ganon. His fourth shot. Get your GGs in chat for Gammachuu. FEARAgent will have to finish in order for us to calculate the full time, but Sunshine, can you give me the official time as he crosses the bridge?
Yeah, let's see here. Official in-game time is 1 hour, 25 minutes, 34 seconds. I don't have SRL up at the moment. I can imagine it's going to be pretty close to what we have here on stream. But please put your GGs in chat for Gammachuu of Team Kappa for finishing first.
Finishing first and actually clinching the Lost Woods division. They are on top with a record of 12-1. Can finish no worse than 12-2 in Season 2.
Yep. We have Fear in his Ganon fight as well. With his brother's sword, won't be taking too many sword swipes, but showing us some neat little tricks here with iframes using the hook shots. On Team name side, we did see Rick doing a full left clear and finding out that left side has nothing, unfortunately for him. And that is going to be GG's on FEARAgent's side, defeating Ganon. We're crossing that bridge momentarily. Put your GGs in the chat for FEARAgent and Gammachuu of Team Kappa. The FEARAgent with an in-game time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 28 seconds. Just almost 2 minutes behind Gammachuu.
And that works out to an average time of about 1 hour, 26 minutes, 31 seconds. We are joined by Team Kappa.
The champs are here.
And Gammachuu.
Champs are here.
Modest as always. FEARAgent and Gammachuu, congratulations on wrapping up the first place in Lost Woods Division.
Yep.
Hey, GG's.
Hey, thanks. GG's.
Did you see how bad Gamma played?
Dude, why do you gotta bring that up?
I will say, I'm very, very impressed that Gammachuu, you managed to complete 4 bosses with swordless mode, and like we were kind of curious of how long you would take without before you get your first sword. Like it was so like does he not know where swords are? Like
yeah. FEARAgent, were you not telling him where the swords were in Hype Cave?
I told him to stay away from Hype Cave because there was nothing in there.
Yeah, not until we hit the fire rod Gomo, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's 2 swords in Hype Cave. Like, yeah, it would have been nice to know, you know?
I did not do that. There was an inconvenient time for him to do it, What he did mess up when he went to desert. He should have got the swords first, but
Yeah, but we still haven't had hammer, and I didn't really want to do. I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to do a Dark World tour, with myths, and to make my way to
Right.
Head for the swords. And I got a little salty when Fear told me, "Oh, I just got silvers." As I made my way inside desert, I'm like, "Oh, that would have been so nice
It's
for
like,
desert." Yeah, and I'm thinking about leaving, but I'm already here. I gotta clear it. And I was gonna use bomb straw as backup because I'm not too good with, bow, landmos.
Yeah. I was actually very impressed with the bow strats with Lamo. That's kind of like an energy strat. I don't see very often, but very well done. Yeah, how does it feel? You guys got your first week bye going into the playoffs. How are we feeling?
I mean, was there ever any doubt?
I mean,
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah, it feels great.
great.
It feels great to have a first round bye.
I will say this.
Mhm.
I made it known to Fear that I was super disappointed he didn't go into Thieves Town with the Cane of Samaria and 4 Hearts early on.
No, you know who told me not to go into Cane of Samaria with Cane of Samaria and 4 Hearts was Gammachuu. Big talk. Did you see he missed the 1-1 on Ganon?
I was going for it, and then he tells me, "You better not miss a 1-1," and that just totally threw me off, and I ended up missing it. Like, dude, are you kidding? You just messed me up there. But I had really fun. The seed seemed really generous. Other than that,
it was, yeah.
hammer
Yeah,
placement.
it was generous.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it just, oh gosh, you go get myths, want to do Skullwoods early on, because hammer pretty much blocked everything. The mirror, hookshot inside pod.
I wish we had tape because we skipped Skullwoods when we first got into the Dark World, and I realized that we had both swords, the cape and the lamp, and no hammer. And I thought, oh, this is gonna be an Agaseed, and so all we had left was Skullwoods and a couple random spots over here. And so I'm like, should I just go Kern Jump and see if hammer's on Pyramid? And Gamma was like, yeah, do that. I was like, oh, I said, should I skip Skullwoods? And he told me to skip Skullwoods. I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna do Skullwoods. I wish we were recording our voices because I swear he said skip Skullwoods.
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'm a big fan of Skullwoods play, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I said I don't know.
Turns out if you run a lot of these, you can have success with them. Gamma and I run a lot of all dungeons co-op, so
yeah,
they're
these are
pretty
really
good.
fun to mode. Yeah, this is like the one mode I look forward to in the league. I like doing co-op, with any kind of a seed except piloting. I don't like piloting. That's stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of go over what you guys are talking over and how, what was pretty much your overall game plan going into tonight.
Win was our game plan.
Okay, all right.
So I told Gamma, let's win.
Okay.
I don't know. We've played a lot of these, so we have our route down pretty much. Did you see the fake out at the very beginning with Gamma not getting a sanctuary chest?
Yeah.
That was
Oh my gosh, dude. It's
so one time, so we both started sync, and I go left, he goes right. That's how we normally do it. One time we opened up the flippers there, and that means you can't hoolighan right away with the flippers.
Right.
So every once in a while, I like to open it up because Gamma will wait for me, and I'll say flippers, and that's how we started the race.
Yeah, as soon as we start, I'm making my way to that chest, and he says flippers. I'm like, oh crap, and I'm walking back down, and he's like, no, I'm just kidding, and I'm like, oh okay, whatever. This is not a way to start off a run, dude.
And then I have no doubt that he told you to skip Skull Woods if you told him that was flippers.
He probably would.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, we have a good system basically
Yeah, just lie
trying
to
never
each
to
other.
be in the same. Yeah, definitely lie to each other. Of trying never to be in the same spot at the same time and just trying to get as much information as
Right.
possible. So,
Mhm.
we found that Saha seems to have a lot of items recently. So that's why Gamma made the play to Saha. Normally,
Yeah.
normally it's a little bit different, but that's the change that we made. And then with the early flute there, I just get the Kakariko. And it was just kind of off to the races after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, early flute is always nice to have for that mobility.
Yeah. I will say that the main difference between the two teams is that you guys kind of opted to do more dungeon checks. So kind of making sure, clearing it. If you guys can clear a dungeon, go ahead and clear it. While on Rickland's next side, they did spend some time with more overworld checks, and I think that's where their time sync was for this race.
Okay, yeah, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, I told Fear too, as he was clearing mine, let's just focus on all these dungeons since Hookshot pretty much opened up a lot more. And yeah, it was pretty fortunate because, what was it, the ice rod? Yeah, we were just looking for the rods at that point, I believe.
Yeah.
After the mirror. Yeah, mirror and rods. And we found those rods back to back. You found it in Ice Palace, and then I found it immediately afterward in Hookshot Cave. So it worked out really nicely.
Very quickly, you were in no mode by virtue of finding those rods. And I think actually that was the biggest difference maker where We're Bad at Team Names did not find those until much later. It was those two items specifically.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, Ice Palace is, it's an ugly dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, did they end up doing fake flipping, by the way? I'm curious.
I think they did. I don't remember. I think Synack did it. He got his either pretty early, and I think that was the last item that Rick needed before going into Mire and Turtle Rock.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because both the dungeons, of course, were E3 required.
So talk about teamwork. Your collection rates were 112 and 113 respectively. So very good communication to say skip this, skip that.
That's how champs do it. It's also sub 130 for all dungeons as well. So it's definitely not an easy feat by any means.
Yeah, I mean, other than the hammer location, really everything was pretty much in a friendly spot, I would say. Well, except maybe the ice rod, but I was, icebreaker. It's not too bad now.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it just felt pretty nice.
So I think we already mentioned that your next match is going to be on Thursday, and who's running in that?
Yeah, that's going to be me and One Up going against again. Is it Rick? I think Rick is the one playing twice this week. Rick and Clifford?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be us too. Yeah, it'll be us. Both of us, or four of us, doing it on Thursday. I forget what time it was.
I think it's around the same time, if not earlier. I think, let me pull it up. Looks like it's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday at 10:15, so a little bit earlier start than what we had tonight. I think so, since you guys have the first round bye, it's just really a matter of the remaining places in your division. How are you guys feeling? Like just I guess 7 weeks into the league, how are you feeling compared to last season? Since we have the commissioner here, how are you feeling going into the wrapping up the regular season of season 2?
Well, I feel great. We got a first round bye. Didn't make the playoffs last year. We brought in our ringer Gammachuu to take care of business. And of course, he was the only loss. He was the only loss we had this season. So there's that.
I had to balance.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good. I feel like we goal 1 was make playoffs. We did that. Goal 2 was win the division. We did that. And now we're gonna have to face this team, or I think probably Willard's team after that, and that's gonna be really tough. So I'm not gonna, my modesty hat's gonna have to get get turned on because, come playoffs, anything can
Yeah.
happen.
Well, for the Lost Woods division, there still is a little bit of uncertainty. We have Team We're Better team names did clinch a playoff spot. They could finish second or third, and then the remaining team could be what I refer to as Team Consonant, WJP, TBB, and But We're Buddies both have a chance of making that third spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know all the tiebreakers because there's a billion tiebreakers for all the different divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ours is probably one of the simplest ones because
Yeah.
2 spots have already been locked up with us, and we're bad at team names. So I think if we go 2-0 and WJPTBB goes 2-0, they get the 2 seed, I believe. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say that this division has a little bit simpler outlook in terms of playoff spots as opposed to other divisions that shall remain unnamed.
100%.
Some of these are a mess.
I don't know how you 6 teams with the same record after 6 weeks. I don't understand.
I don't know either. It gives me luckily I've got 2 very smart people taking care of it because I wouldn't be able to figure it out.
Right. I'm gonna go back to Team Rebecca team name side. See Rick in the Ganon fight. Unfortunately, does take a death, so his pattern will be resetting, but he's gonna dust himself off and go take 2.
Oh, did they end up doing Skullwoods too early on? First thing in the Dark World?
I think Synack did that pretty early. I think he was out of the 4 runners, he was the first one to go into Skullwoods to get the hammer.
See, Fear, I blame you.
I feel like I do that every time. I think Gamma would too. I think I've actually learned it from. I've been taught by Gamma to skip Skullwoods early.
I probably would, but since you're the first one to go in Dark World, I have you to blame.
Rick being a little bit too aggressive there with Ganon, so we'll take 3.
I will say the swords were pretty nicely placed today.
Well, we'll see, Gamma, you did opt to skip the 4th sword in the Chain Chomp room in Turtle Rock. Was that just by choice, or you're just I'm good with the Tempered Sword, or?
Okay, so this is how it played out.
Okay.
I let the Chain Chomps decide that for me. I told Fear, if the Chain Chomps are out of the way and I could key dash my way through that door, I'm gonna do it. But if the Chain Chomps kind of place themselves in the middle, then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the sword.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were, out of the way, so I just, went for the key dash, and it worked.
Right.
Okay, I'm not getting it. Looks like I'm not going to be getting that today.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because Turtle Rock was my last dungeon, so it wasn't really going to be that much of a, time save for me.
Right. Yeah, one of the main differences is also that Rick did opt to do the early Dark World dungeon play, going into the Dark World with 3-4 hearts and green mail, but did take some deaths to doing blind over in Thieves Town earlier.
Oh, he did make that play.
Oh,
GG to Rick.
Yeah. Speaking of, we have Rick finishing up the Ganon fights. We'll be crossing the bridge and finishing up with an in-game time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 23 seconds. Meanwhile, we have Synack going into phase 3 of his Ganon fight as well. Please put your GGs in chat for Rick. So I'll get them in for... we'll wait till Synack finishes, and then we'll bring everyone in for the interview.
What about you guys? Have you enjoyed the league so far?
Yes, I do regret not joining in this year, but I was taking a little break from racing personally, but hopefully for season 3 I do want to come back to it. It's been really fun commentating for these races, and being able to talk to you guys as well. So fun times all around. Meanwhile, we do have Synack wrapping up his Ganon fight as well, finishing about a little over a minute after Synack with a time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, 12 seconds. Put your G's in the chat for all of our runners tonight. So we'll get everyone in for a post-race interview. I see them both here. And we'll bring them in.
Yeah, while we wait for them, Fear, to answer your question, I've enjoyed it both as a runner and a viewer and a commentator. This has been a blast, and I hope to see season 3 at some point soon.
Yeah, there will be a season 3. I just don't know when.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to that. I had a lot of fun this season.
Yeah, it's weird that the season's ending. I mean, for a lot of teams, 64 teams, and it's the end. But
All right, and joining us we have AdirondackRick and Synack of Team. We're about a team named GG's to the both of you.
Moo.
Moo.
So all right, so I'll put you guys on the spot. How are you guys? How are you guys feeling wrapping up the seed? What are your thoughts? What are your emotions, expressions, anything at all? Want to share with us to start off?
I know I could have handled that seed a lot better than I did. I know that for certain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad at this game.
Yeah, we were talking over with Fear and Gammachuu. We knew that the seed was pretty generous in terms of item locations. One of the main differences was that for Rick and Synack, you guys did a little bit more time with overworld checks and taking in some of bosses pretty early on. Frankly, did have to do a few takes with them. I know with Rick going into blind with just Samaria strats and 4 hearts and green mail. It's definitely not easy by any means.
Yeah, I need to restudy how to do blind Samaria. I haven't done that in a long time, so that really came into play, and I already knew if by that point we're pretty... By the sounds of what you're saying, it sounds like they didn't hit the dungeons real fast.
No, well, we didn't do Thieves Town. We did the first 4, but I wasn't going to do 4 heart.
Yeah, I give you this, Rick. You have courage for doing that, because I was shaming Fear for not doing that. He just said, I'm only going to do it for 4 chests.
Yeah, but also on the same token, it just added up on time, especially after the second death, when I said, nope, we're coming back later.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah, getting the Dark World access early is always a good advantage, but at the same time, with green mail and few hearts, it's always a little bit of a risk to avoid getting hit by things because they hurt a lot. What was going on, just in terms of routing and communication between the two of you? Give us a little insight of what was going on in your call during the seed.
I think we pretty much was just trying to come up to an idea of where the next step in the progression is, because the seed wanted us in the dark world relatively early, what I thought was going on. And then, the idea is we wanted to try to stay away from being on top of each other in the same dungeons, because that's not really helpful to trying to figure out where things are when we're not in go mode. But then we ended up having to be in the Palace of Darkness together because of the circumstances at that point, because the hookshot was the next step in the chain.
Right.
I just got excited when Rick yelled, "Ice Palace has ice rod," and I mirrored. And yeah, I mean, I still had to do the dungeon. Well, I wasn't too far into Swamp when he declared that, but one thing I was going to be doing, and then I ended up bailing out on it because Rick found other stuff that was fun and interesting. Was I was about ready to fake Flipper into ice, which would have found us that ice rod relatively early, because that's what we were looking for the longest time. I think we could have saved a bunch of time if I would have gone down that road, but yeah, that's rando.
Yeah, rando be rando. Yeah, I believe just looking at the standings, I think you guys are still set for to clinch a playoff spot. I think you guys can do no worse than second of this rate. I believe. I'm terrible with the stats. So correct me if I'm wrong as to how your current team standings are at this point.
Well, right now, Team Kappa's got the division. We've got either second or third, depending on what happens Thursday night, with various other things that are going on in the division. But in the end, we fell behind early, and we couldn't find a way to get back into this, I think, is the moral of this race. But I'll definitely have to see how they routed things to kind of get an idea for what we could have maybe have done differently in this seed.
So go ahead.
Did you guys think it was an Agassi at any point?
No.
No? Me and Fear thought that for a bit when we found the Master Sword and Lamp, because we still haven't touched Skullwoods for that hammer. So I thought that was probably going to be logical access to the pot area. But you guys got the hammer early on, I assume.
Yeah, Synack was the first to go into Skullwoods to get the hammer. Which I know, I think when Rick was in Seastown early on, he didn't have the hammer at that point still, so we were curious as to did he have to come? Will he have to come back for that last chest and everything? So it's kind of like just those thoughts in our head during that time. Also, like to quickly point out one more time that your second match for this matchup is going to be coming up on Thursday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. I think you guys will be switching up runners, so we do have. I think Rick, you're racing again on Thursday. I believe you'll have Clifford with you.
That's the current game plan. It may be subject to change, but we'll see what happens. But I'm locked in for Thursday.
Okay, and then we do have Team Kappa. We have one up in Gammachuu. Gammachuu will be taking the second race this time. Anything you guys want to share as we wrap up for the evening? Anything at all? This is the last week of the regular season of the league. What have been your overall thoughts so far in the 7th week?
Sucks.
I think Fear is probably ready to die.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's as both commentator and viewer, it's been amazing seeing the last 7 weeks and just kind of seeing how much the league has grown since last year. And I'm sure if it doesn't feel like it's been 7 weeks, like I feel like it just started. Oddly enough.
I will disagree with that, but yes.
As an outsider, it feels that way.
Sure,
but I feel like
sure.
Someone who's actually working, the actual commissioner of the league feels like it's been like a million years.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything you guys want to share? Any last thoughts?
Good luck in the playoffs, guys.
Thank you. GG's to you, and we'll see how Thursday goes. I mean, like I said, I'll watch this one back just to see how you guys routed it over how we did it. But it sounds like the decision not to go into Thievestown earlier helped you guys out, because then it got you the swords earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, and at worst, I mean, win or lose, right? We got the playoffs, and so there's a chance that we do this again.
Yes,
So that should be
indeed.
fun.
Absolutely. GG's to you both.
Yeah, GG's.
GG, Synack.
All right.
GG.
Oh, gosh. All right, and so thank you all for tuning in tonight, and got our command for the runners here to follow all 4 of our runners in their respective Twitch channels. Give them a follow and see what else they do outside of Rando. And thank you to our 2 trackers tonight, DJ Joel and Sokol, for keeping track of all the items, with all 4 runners. It's definitely not an easy task, but still thank you guys for handling that. And tonight it was Lumaga commenting with me. Thank you so much for all the things and the stuff. And yeah, I'm tired.
And thank you so much to Crazy Sunshine.
All right, if you want to anything, I'll let you to close things off for the night. Yeah.
I think that should wrap it up.
Yes. More rando coming up tomorrow in the 2:10 p.m. Eastern. But until then, we'll go ahead and sign off for the night. Thank you all so much. Thank you all to all the racers, trackers, restreamers, commentators, everyone in between. And we'll see you guys in the next race. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.